Hello everybody, hope you guys are all enjoying your day. Today we're going to be looking at a longer range forecast, which is going to be breaking down when areas in the eastern United States could be receiving the colder temperatures. Right now we are stuck in a very warm pattern due to some ridging out off the shore of the Carolinas and Georgia, this Bermuda high right here, and that's driving all this warmer air into the eastern United States. You also have this cold air that's bottled up into Alaska and also into western Canada that's going to be sinking south. You already have this cold air sinking south and into the United States, but this is going to sink into the eastern United States as we continue to move on. So now, we're going to start off by looking at this map that I made that shows you where every single oscillation that is right around the North American continent, which areas that does take place in. So here, I'm going to kind of dissect this for you and show you where you want your ridging and your troughing. So you're going to want your troughing, you're going to want troughing right around this is for cold air over the eastern United States. You're going to want some troughing out near the EPO area, which would be south of Alaska. That's going to lead to this cold air sinking south, and that's going to also lead, usually when the EPO is negative, you're going to want the PNA to be positive, and most of the time it is. That's going to lead to ridging here. So that's going to drive cold air. That's going to kind of cause some sort of jet stream that kind of looks like this to impact parts of the eastern United States. You also want your AO to be negative here, and that's going to lead to this cold Arctic masses to kind of sink south, and that actually leads to an unstable polar vortex, and that's usually what you want for cold air. And also you're going to want some below average heights right around the NAO area, and usually you want them actually further up to the north, and that is really the best prime setup for this for seeing cold and snowy conditions over the eastern United States. Of course, cold air is going to kind of match up with the snowy conditions. So wherever the warm and the cold meet, that's pretty much where you have your storm systems. So either way, you're going to see storm systems, but it's how far south those storm systems get because of this cold air. That's the real driving factor here on whether you're going to see a lot of snow. So we're going to start off by looking at some of these oscillations. This is from the European model, and this blue line for all of these, this means that this is what already happened. This is what was observed and what already happened. Here is these white dots, or these white dots outlined with black here. This is what indicates the forecast, the model forecast, and you see the AO is trending negative by around the 21st of January. Now, this has been fluctuating between the 19th of January and the 23rd of January. So sometime in between this area, this is when you could expect a big storm system, as you're going to see rapid changes in pressure, and that's could lead to some big storm systems. Now, here's the EPO, the East Pacific Oscillation, and you see this one is also trending fairly far. This currently is slightly above the average. Now this is going to trend a little bit below average into the weekend. And then it's also going to bounce back up again, according to the European. But as it starts to build a lot, it's going to have a sharp decrease. And then eventually, as you get around that 19th through 23rd period, again, you are seeing that change in the pattern. Now, let's go to another oscillation here, the NAO, the North Atlantic Oscillation. And this is going to be showing you really want this one to be negative as well. And you see this is also heading negative between the 17th through the 21st. So this is a really good pattern signal for people in the eastern United States if you do want some cold and snowy conditions. Now here's the PNA, and the PNA, this one you want positive for colder temperatures in the eastern Canada and the eastern United States, because that does cause ridging out west. So you're going to start to see that right around that 19th through 21st time period, and potentially even lingering into the 23rd. And these pattern changes, these last for 4 to 6 weeks, and we only have about 8 more weeks left in January, or in winter. So about 7 to 8 weeks left in winter. So this is going to last for most of the winter at least, pretty much. So this is a pretty good signal, and you have all of them correlating together, and also the MJO. So for you guys who are more involved in weather and who like to look at weather models and are more into the weather, you will know what the MJO is, and it's going into around the 812 phase, which basically it tracks winds around the Indian Ocean, which does play a part into our weather pattern here in the United States. And once it gets into the 1-8 or the 812 phase, that's the coldest for the eastern United States, and that's also heading into a positive direction for cold and snowy conditions, or at least cold conditions, and along with that you'll get snow, of course. So really good signals for you in the eastern United States, and I know it has been a disappointing winter so far, but it is looking to ramp up later on. It's going to be a backloaded winter, as a lot of winters actually are, and for example, the 2017-2018 winter, that was a backloaded winter as well. So a lot of these winters, they are backloaded, and they can produce a lot of snow and cold in the eastern United States later on. So this is your 500 HPA height anomalies, and this is showing you a little bit farther up in the atmosphere your temperature anomalies. This red and the brown indicates high pressure, and this cold in this green, this blue, this indicates low pressure. And once you get, and this also indicates cold temperatures, and this and the red also indicates warm temperatures, pretty much. So as we continue this, you're seeing this cold air is sinking south from western Canada, and it's already sinking south into the eastern or the western United States. Now, as we continue this, you're seeing it to kind of bottle up, and then as we get into the 19th, 20th time frame, you're gonna have this little system right here that is gonna kind of move out the system right here, or this system right here. This is the system that's really gonna change the pattern here. So this is gonna be a little storm system that is gonna bring, according to the models currently, they are showing a little bit of snow over the Great Lakes and Northeast. Now, if we continue this, you're seeing that moves offshore, but that's going to change your pattern, and you're going to see troughing out in the east as well. You're going to be seeing a displacement of finally your polar vortex. You're finally going to get a displacement of that. So this cold air you see for the rest of the model run, it is cold over the eastern United States, and of course that might correlate with some snowfall as well. Here are your temperature anomalies looking at the North America view, and you see we have very warm temperatures over the eastern United States so far, but as we continue this, you see this very, very cold air over parts of the western United States and the western Canada area, moving south into parts of the northern plains, and that's going to eventually track into parts of the eastern United States as well. Now, here is the 6 to 10 day outlook, and this is made by NOAA, so these are actually pretty good. The 6 to 10 day outlook and the 8 to 14 day outlook, they're both pretty good. The NOAA does a pretty good job with this, or the Climate Prediction Center does a pretty good job with this forecast. They are fairly accurate. 3 to 4 week outlook, that's a little bit more uncertain, but they still are fairly accurate with that. You see, we have from the January 16th to January 20th time frame, this is when you're starting to see this pattern change, but it hasn't fully went into effect yet. Over much of the western and northern United States, you're seeing colder conditions. Now, this is a probability of a percent chance of seeing below or above average conditions, so this isn't showing the magnitude, but usually with a higher chance or higher certainty, usually you are seeing a higher or colder temperatures or warmer temperatures, depending on which shading you're in. So these blues, these are indicating colder temperatures. These reds are indicating warmer temperatures. So as we continue this, here is the 8 to 14 day outlook. You see the heart of this cold air, instead of being centered over the western U.S. and the Rockies, it's now centered over the central United States. And now you have this warmer air starting to break out over parts of the western United States, the southern Rockies. Some warmer air is starting to break out. According to the Climate Prediction Center, again, they are pretty accurate, from the January 18th to January 24th time period. And again, that's when you saw your big pattern change from all the oscillations as well as the MJO. You're seeing all of those really correlate, and that's leading to some very favorable conditions over the eastern United States and the northern United States as well. Now, here's your week 3 to 4 temperature outlook. And you see, still concentrated over the central U.S., but it's getting even colder over the eastern United States. And according to the Climate Prediction Center, they are forecasting a bit of ridging out in the southeastern United States, but again, that could change. But either way, it does look like you are going to be seeing some colder conditions in the eastern United States, and that is kind of correlating with all your oscillations: the Arctic Oscillation, the Eastern Pacific Oscillation, the North Atlantic Oscillation, and the PNA, the Pacific North America Oscillation. So all these indexes are kind of showing and correlating with this cold air, and as well you're getting this backup from the Climate Prediction Center, and they are usually very accurate with these forecasts. They have this pretty much down to a science, and they are very accurate. So the fact that they are showing this is a very good sign for you snow and cold lovers in the eastern United States. Anyways, guys, that was Eli the Weather Guy. I post these videos daily, and I usually talk about storms. This is more of a different video because it is a pretty big topic to talk about right now. So tomorrow I will have my weekly forecast, which will be Sunday. I do them every Sunday, so make sure you do turn on notifications so you don't miss out when I do post that. Anyways, guys, that was Eli the Weather Guy, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.